everyone, my name is Alex and I am a performer and longtime idol fan. Here's a nice and neat reference guide for a variety of terms that you might hear in reference to Japanese idols and by extension idols outside of Japan who aim to emulate and celebrate the subculture. So you're new to the community or you've been around for a long time and are just too afraid to ask, I got you. There's a lot of crossover with these terms with other cultures like maid cafes and VTubers, so I think a lot of people might find this useful. There will be timestamps below for each of the terms, so if you want to skip ahead, go for it, but otherwise, let's get started. Idol. Let's start off easy. An idol by Japanese standards is an entertainer who, generally speaking, subscribes to the idol subculture. In Japan, idol is not exclusive to singers and dancers. Models, actors, TV personalities, VTubers, a lot of different entertainers can identify under the idol term. For the purposes of these videos, we're mainly going to be talking about performers who primarily dance and sing, but the beautiful thing about idols is that they can do a variety of things. Chika idol, Kaigai idol, alt idol. Chika idol is an underground idol. Generally means someone who isn't signed to a major agency or isn't among the mainstream of idols. Kaigai idol means overseas idol in Japanese. Basically, the term is used to describe idols outside of Japan who perform in the Japanese idol style. This isn't exclusive to the West either. There are Kaigai idols who perform in the Japanese idol style in other places in Asia as well. You may hear idols in the West use either of these terms to identify themselves outside of just the word idol, but idol is enough. Alt idol is a term that I hear mostly Western fans use, but it's used for idols who sort of break the mold of what we traditionally think of idols to be. Whether it's lyrically or genre or aesthetic, there's something going on that's a little outside the norm. They tend to tackle subjects that typically idols would not. There are many, many other subcategories of idol, but these are the main ones that you're gonna hear. Wota. This is a term used to describe fans of idols. It comes from otaku, which is generally translated as a geek or a nerd of something specific. Otaku tends to refer to anime and manga, whereas Wota is specifically fans of idols. Sometimes there will be things attached to the word Wota, like Hero Wota, which is specifically for fans of Hello Project idols. You may hear the term Kimo Wota, and if you do, hope they're not talking about you. It means someone who is being an extreme and usually creepy fan. It comes from the term kimoi, which means gross or disgusting. Related is gachikoi, which is a term used to describe a wota who is genuinely in love with their idol. I get weird talking about it because there's so much emphasis on the internet on kimo wota and people who are unnecessarily creepy, and we don't talk enough about how many great and amazing fans there are out there, so that's all. No being in love with people you don't actually know. Got it? Wotagei. This refers to the type of chanting and cheering that are generally done at live events. I'm going to do an entire video on Wotagei culture and teach you some of the basic chants. There are several general chants that can be inserted into nearly every song, as well as member-specific and group-specific, and sometimes even song-specific chants as well. You'll hear the terms mix and call often used interchangeably as well. If you want to get started on Wotagei before I make my video, I'll link a guide below that can teach you some of the basics. Penlight, Lightstick, Kingblade. Penlight is the most common term that you'll hear these days, but they are the battery-powered light sticks that you see scattered throughout an idol crowd at concerts. They're an important part of Wotagei, but not at all required. In Japanese idol culture, these penlights are generally not group or member specific, and so they can be used at virtually any idol show. However, there are some group specific ones, and particularly with anime idols, there are member, group, and even tour specific penlights. For the most part, they will look like this, but have an insert in them. There are some specially shaped ones, though. Kingblade is one of the biggest brands of penlights, and if you know somebody who qualifies for the senior discount, they may refer to all penlights as Kingblades. If you hear about UOs, these are ultra oranges, and they're very high-powered glow sticks that glow for only a short period of time. They're typically used during highly emotional or dramatic parts of a song to add drama, as they are incredibly bright when there is a crowd of them. They actually come in an array of colors these days, but orange is the most common that you'll see. As a quick aside, I like Lumika's penlights the best. I really like the way that they feel in your hand, and switching colors is super easy, but you can buy a variety of penlights on Amazon or on other websites as well. Generation. There are a number of groups who have rotating rosters. What this means is that the list of members rotates even though the group continues on. Each new wave of members is called generations, and you may see it listed as number, ki. Groups have this system, but enough do that it's worth mentioning. Graduation. When an idol decides to leave their group or move on from idol work, this is called a graduation. Typically there is a special concert dedicated to this idol's time in their group or their time as an idol, and it's quite a large and dramatic affair. There are letter readings and fancy dresses and solo performances. Sometimes even past members from groups will come and make special appearances. Most of the people who are idols are quite young, and they spend quite a bit of their youth dedicated to their idol work, whether it be solo or within their group. So deciding to end that chapter of their life is kind of a big deal, whether they stay in the entertainment world or move on to live a normal life. If you see your idol posting a long block of text as an image on Twitter and you can't immediately translate it, heart attack. Every time. Oshi. Oshimen. Kamioshi. Your favorite idol is your Oshi. There are quite a few variations of this term, but you'll hear most often the following. Oshimen is used to signal your favorite member of a group. For example, Nanase is my Wasta Oshimen. And then there's Kamioshi, which is your all-time favorite idol, regardless of what group they're in or if they're even an idol anymore. Kami means god, and so it's like your god tier idol. For example, my Kamioshi is Saimi Michichike, who is the former leader of Morning Musume. There's also Oshihen, which is a verb used to describe when you change your Oshi from one member to another. Sometimes this is considered a big deal, but I don't think it's that deep. You also don't have to have a favorite member of a group, and there's actually a phrase for this in Japanese called dare demo daisuki, which means that you like all the members equally. Center. Ace. Unlike in K-pop or in Western pop groups, there are very few Japanese idol groups who have assigned roles. Sometimes there is an unspoken rapper or lead dancer, but rarely is it ever formalized. However, a lot of the times there is a leader and a center, or sometimes it's called an ace. Generally, this refers to someone who is the face of a group or a particular song. There are some groups who have a defined and static center throughout their tenure, and there are some other groups, most notably like AKB48, who have a different center for each song. But frankly, when you have over 120 girls in your group, that has to happen. The center is kind of considered like the main character of that particular story. Or they have the strongest stage presence or skill, and so they're considered the center, the thing that holds together the group. Often they get the most vocal lines, they get the dance feature, etc., etc. Not every group or song has a center, but you'll hear it talked about quite a lot. This. I don't know how to verbalize this one. You'll see it mostly on live streams, and it's something that came out of Nico Nico Doga, which is a Japanese video uploading site. 8 in Japanese means hachi, and the onomatopoeia for clapping is pachi in Japanese. And so a collection of 8s is pachi 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 pachi, which is used to be like, or like saying good job. Cheki. Bromide. Chekis are Polaroids, which are often taken at live events as a memento for the event, but they can also be sold online for fans. The term Cheki is also an onomatopoeia for the sound that the camera takes when you take a Polaroid. Check. You know. It's incredibly common merch for idols, and you often will see them sign it with markers or decorate with stickers and washi tape. This is a pretty big part of maid cafe culture too. Bromide is a sort of outdated term for photo prints that idols sell, and I believe this is because they used to be printed on bromide paper. They haven't been printed on this for a really long time, but they still were called bromides for a while in Japan. You'll often see prints L and 2L used instead. Alright, that should get you started, but if there are any other words that you have questions on or that you think should be gone over, comment them below and I can definitely make a part 2 to this little dictionary. Now on to the idol highlight. The Japanese idol that I want to introduce you today is my favorite solo idol, Yui Ogura. She's an incredibly skilled performer, and even if her music isn't your thing, I really recommend studying her concerts if you're a performer yourself. The way that she's able to fill a stage presence just by herself is really impressive. But if I'm being honest, Cherry Passport is one of the best idol albums of all time. So from a songwriting perspective, it's really fantastically executed pop music. I really suggest checking it out. The international idol that I want to highlight for you today is Galaxy Girl Paida! Paida is a pop artist from Texas who has been performing for years and is genuinely so good! She has an incredible voice, and as someone who's seen her live a few times, she has such a genuine and welcoming presence. Despite the fact that she wants to kill all humans, which, valid. She's done a lot of covers of songs translated into Japanese as well, and those are really cool. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. From the stars in the sky, I'm Alex Pinku. Goodbye!